Hey guys, Paul D coming to you live from the Artist Studio of Life with a very difficult, soul-searching, and challenging question today. Are you ready? Are you a shallow person? I'm talking about being an inch deep and a mile wide. Are you a shallow person? As I come to the Proverbs today, I am faced with a very interesting and enigmatic question or quote or problem, and things kind of take a little different twist in the Proverbs as we look at them today. The words of Agor. Here's a different guy that's being introduced, a different author. And so we're looking at this person, and things kind of take a twist. And so I did what any person should do when you realize that you really don't know what you're talking about, is do a little research. And so things are going to kind of come full circle today as we are kind of wrapping up the Proverbs in some ways. And I just want to say, as I got up this morning, I grabbed my eagle hat. Check out the eagle hat. You know, why do we love the eagle? The eagle is our national symbol. Man, it's snowing like crazy out there. I'll show you clips of that in just a minute. But the eagle is our national symbol. And one of the cool things about the eagle that makes it different from every other bird, are you ready? It has eyebrows. That's right, eyebrows. Eyebrows create a look of stern discernment and consternation. Eagles are really cool. When they were considering the national symbol of our country, Benjamin Franklin was rooting for the turkey. I'm kind of glad he didn't pick the turkey. But why the eagle? You know, the eagle is really important because it does have that sense of nobility, that sense of stern discernment. And we communicate a lot with our eyebrows, don't we? We move our eyebrows and we kind of communicate in a very real way. And when I ask this question today, are you a shallow person? Are you an inch deep and a mile wide? I want to do that, not being critical, but I want us to think critically about our lives. I want us to think critically about our minds. You know, this whole thing, this whole vlog started as I was looking at YouTube. And as I began to look out there at the world of YouTube and seeing what's online, I was absolutely appalled at the absolute mush, the absolute nimble-minded insanity that is on there. And not just in small proportions. I'm talking about people by the millions, by the tens of millions, people by the hundreds of millions that are going after the most foolish and silly and stupid things. And I thought, you know, can't we just do something to kind of raise the bar a little bit and bring God's Word to bear on our contemporary society out there. And, you know, as today kind of comes full circle, we got one more day left. I read these words in Proverbs chapter 4. The psalmist says, "How long will you aim at deception and love what is worthless?" And, you know, that's what we see happening in the world today. People are absolutely loving what is worthless, what is absolutely of no value, the absolute stupidity of so many things. I look at them, 200, 300 million hits on complete sensuality and foolishness. And so, why do I bring that up? Well, as I look at the Proverbs today, I read these words, and it says this. He says, "Surely I am more stupid than any man, and I have not the understanding of a man. Neither have I learned wisdom, nor have I knowledge of the Holy One." You know, as we look at our lives, and as we go out into the world, and as we begin to learn, as we begin to read and study and look around at the world, we realize how much we really do not know. And I think in today's day and age, with the internet, which I think to me is the epitome of the absolute shallowness of society today, we want to condense everything into 144 characters, into 2 or 3 minute sound bites. And people are not thinking deeply, nor critically, nor truthfully about much of anything today. And I want to illustrate that as I look at these words. You know, the opening to these words, the Proverbs, the author of Agor, he says, "I write to Ithiel and to Ukal," and, you know, there's all these other characters brought in. And, you know, I went to some of my resources, and I got some books sitting here, and I pulled out some resources. I pulled out Harrison, Archer, and Walke's word studies of the Old Testament, of the Hebrew. I pulled out my Wycliffe Bible Dictionary, my Zondervan Pictorial Encyclopedia. I pulled out Barnes' notes on the Old Testament, written over 100 years ago, an amazing resource on the Old Testament. And then one of my favorite commentaries I pulled out, Lang's commentary. It was this particular volume was written in 1960. That's a lot of years ago. And the majority of what's written in it is quoting guys, between, Jerome and the 400s, down through the scholars and the scholastics, and then into the great commentators of the 17 and 1800s. And one of the things that I learned just from a very quick and simple study of these particular passages is this: how very little I know about the scriptures. I mean, there is so much to know. And all the theories about who these two authors were, who these two people were, and how this was written, and how Solomon wrote the majority of the Proverbs, but then these were added later. And we're going to see the writings of Lemuel tomorrow and verse 30, chapter 31, and the writings here of Agur. And kind of interesting, I found a neat quote in Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 7, talks about the wisdom of the Edomites, the wisdom of the Arabs, and another verse in Obadiah chapter 1 verse 8. So it's kind of interesting as we study, we find out how much we really do not know. And I just want to challenge you, to put aside the foolishness, to dig in, to take some time. Here we are on a cold and snowy day, and I spent some fun time just really digging in and going deep. And as a society, we don't go deep anymore. We are a society that is characterized by completely shallowness in everything. In our reading, in our understanding, in our knowledge of truth, and in our relationships, we are characterized by shallow. Now this morning I got up, I was thinking about this. I went downstairs, and yesterday my girls took some flour and ground some flour, and they made some bread. They actually baked some bread and put it in the oven, made these beautiful loaves of French bread. And when I went downstairs this morning, I saw the leftover cut up bread, and I thought, let's have some awesome French toast. And so I took some farm fresh eggs, and I made French toast, and I took some real maple syrup that was mined from friends of ours out of these gorgeous maple trees growing in the snow here, and I had some real authentic breakfast. And as I sat there at the table, I looked over, and what was my son Jesse doing? He was playing his violin. He was sitting at the table playing his violin, working on scales. And I thought, this is so cool. I've spent my morning with some amazing people, some authors who thought deeply back before there was even electricity. These guys had nothing to do but just dig in and study and go deep. And I thought about the great food down through the centuries that people have made and eaten. We used to eat real and robust, and now food just comes in a box. It's just sugar-coated with the invention of sugar. Just like what we put into our minds is just sugar-coated garbage that just comes to us. And then I thought about the music that we listen to. It's just pop. It's just eye candy. It's just ear candy. It's just fluff. It's just sensuality. It's just, Beyonce and, just fluff. Just sensual fluff that's just fed through the microphone. And I thought, is there really anything real left in life? And so I just want to challenge you. I don't want to be critical. I don't want to be negative. There's a lot of things about the internet and about pop culture that we enjoy. There's a lot of excellence. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of amazing things that are part of our technological world. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, we can be an inch deep and a mile wide. And sometimes it's the good things in life that steal and rob from us those things that are best. So I want to encourage you, don't be a shallow person. Turn away and turn off and turn aside the foolishness, the insanity, the lies. Dig in, seek truth, turn off your radio, make some music, sing, spend some time one-on-one talking to people, and enjoy the real and the veritable and the true things in life that God has given to us. So that's my little sort of rant or tirade as I've come to the internet and come to this venue, wanted to bring you something real, something from God's Word. And as the proverb said today, surely I am more stupid than any man. Wow, do I have a lot to learn. Realizing that myself and each one of us. I hope you're growing in your ability to learn, to have knowledge of the Holy One, to know God and to know His ways for your life. That's what this blog is all about. If you've enjoyed it, like it, share. Thanks for taking this time to be with us. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Lord, won't you lead us, prepare our hearts. We are your hands, we are your feet.